have Ella again with me for another shooting of our 5 and 25. And this time we are going to focus on my 5 recommendations for fantasy slash, I'm going to call them fantasy slash sci-fi, but I think they're primarily fantasy books. I just blur the line between the two for myself. But I want to talk to you about some books that I've read over the years that I really enjoyed, and maybe you might want to enjoy them. So let's get started. The first one I want to talk to you about is because, I'm very excited to tell you that if you like it, there are more books in this. It's a series. I think it is considered a trilogy, right? I think that, because I have the next one in the series somewhere here. I do. Well, anyways, it's called Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. And I read this when it first came out, and I would say that was, let's just find the years on this right now. 2018. Okay. It was a while ago. And it was good. It is a great fantasy that kind of follows some African mythology. And it was very action-packed. There's, a little bit of little romance there. I don't know what they call that now. What do they call it? What is it in romantasy now is what they say for fantasies with romance in it. There's a little bit of that in it, a little intrigue. Phenomenal. And when this book came out, for all of you that are not aware of it, which first of all, the cover, let's just glorious cover. When this book came out, I think before it even hit the stands, they snatched up the rights to make a movie of it. Well, let's just say we also had a pandemic, so maybe it's still going to come. I don't know, but I thought it would be a phenomenal. Maybe the people that did Wakanda would be really good, at least making the costumes. The lady that did the costumes, and that would be phenomenal for this. And bringing it on that kind of scale, I think would make this great. Then it followed up with, I think on this one, I don't have the name of the next one because this was the first one. Children of Virtue and Vengeance, I think, was the second one. And I had to say the first one was the best one so far, but I want to see it through, so I did buy the final one. I think there's 3 books now. I'm going to be mad that I don't have it right. And this one is just a great fantasy. It is look chunky, but I was not at all held back by that. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was really good. And after it seemed like people were trying to get lightning in a bottle. They were trying to actually, capture it in a bottle, rather. They were trying to create more books that were like this. And I'm sure that, I can't name off the top of my head, but I'm sure after this, there were others also that were trying to follow suit. A really good fantasy. And let's see, should I read a little to you? Because I'm just talking without saying it. It says, Zeli Adebola, I probably said it wrong, remembers when the soil of Orisha hummed with magic. Burners ignited flames, tides beckoned waves, and Zeli's Reaper mother summoned forth souls. But everything changed once magic disappeared. Under the orders of the ruthless king, the Magi were targeted and killed, leaving Zeli without a mother and her people without hope. Now Zeli has one chance to bring back magic and strike against the monarchy. With the help of a rogue prince, Zeli must outwit and outrun the crown prince, who is hell-bent on eradicating magic for good. Danger lurks in Orisha when snow leopardaires, it goes on. Oh, so good. And look, I love books with those maps in it. And then it also has, it gives you, the different clan names, so you know who's from where. I am very tempted to go back and listen to the audio of the first one, too. And before I read the next one, the latest one. But it was phenomenal. So that's my first fantasy pick for you. The next one is not by a Black author, but like I said in my previous video, I went my shelf and I picked books on my shelf. So, but this one, the irony of this is that when it came out, I was like, oh, gosh, I hate when, and I still do, I hate when books are advertised like something else, right? So they try to promote it like on the backs of something else. So when this book came out, they just kept saying, oh, it's like Game of Thrones, because at the time Game of Thrones was very popular, and I did participate in watching Game of Thrones and very much enjoyed it, even despite the gore. Okay. And so when this book came out and they were saying that, I was just like, ugh. And I was kind of like, oh my God, this was her debut novel, and they had in Barnes and Noble a big end cap and then like display with all of this stuff. And I'm like, wow, I mean, how publishers pick and choose who they want to really promote. And I knew that by just saying Game of Thrones, it was going to sell books to certain people anyway, right? So you're going to get some sales off of that. And then there's going to be some people like me that were skeptical. So fast forward, I was on a crafting retreat with my friends, and we went into some bookstore, and I found this book for $1. And I looked at it and go, I think I'm going to get it. Because everybody's raving about it, and I'm only going to, if I don't like it, I'll be okay with it. But I got it for $1. And I just thought that was, to me, that was like, as a book buying person, when I get a bargain like that for a brand new book, which, look, it's still brand new looking, it just tickles me. So this is The Ember in the Ashes. I haven't told you the name of it. Ember in the Ashes, and it's by Sabaa Tahir. She is an amazing writer. This was so good. I really liked it. And it went on, and she has I think it's 4 books. 4? I think there's 4 in this. This one obviously won't tell you that because this was the first one. This came out in 2015. So I probably got it, I don't know if it was 2015 or 2016, but for $1. This was really, really good. I'll read it to you. Leia is, I think I say, or Leia, I don't know, Leia is a slave. Elias is a soldier. Neither is free. Under the martial empire, defiance is met with death. Those who do not vow their blood and bodies to the emperor risk the execution of their loved ones and the destruction of all they hold dear. It is in this brutal war, inspired by ancient Rome, that Leia lives with her grandparents and older brother. I think when I was reading this, I remember that I kept changing in my head how I pronounce it. And I'm like, and even had a discussion with myself, like, pick one. The family ekes out an existence in the empire's impoverished backstreets. They do not challenge the empire. They've seen what happens to those who do. But when Leia's brother is arrested for treason, Leia is forced to make a decision. In exchange for help from rebels who promise to rescue her brother, she will risk her life to spy for them from within the empire's greatest military academy. There, Leia meets Elias, and the school's finest soldier, and secretly its most unwilling. Elias wants out to be free of the tyranny he's being trained to enforce. He and Leia will soon realize that their destinies are intertwined and that their choices will change the fate of the empire itself. Oh, so good. I just really enjoyed this book. It was great. So if you like fantasy, I think you give it a shot. It's definitely really good. I liked the first book the best, and I think I did, to be honest with you, I don't think I read the 4th book. I'm really good at not completing things. I think what I'll do with this also is just do the audio and get myself caught up to do I don't feel like I read the 5th one, or the 4th one rather. I've read other books by her as well that was really good. I'm trying to think what the name of that other one that she wrote. It's not this type of book, but this is a really good fantasy. Okay, so my next one, I consider this to be a fantasy, and it might be under another category. Oh, and it's signed to me too. Oh, this is The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. I am waiting for her to get on it and do some more books. I don't know why people don't talk about her, and this book was really, really good. This one is the first book. There is a second book, and then no peep. I think that she did some collaborations, but she needs to put out another book. This one was really good. It followed four. Were they four? Yeah. Aster, Tansy, Violet, and Mallow. Oh, sorry, 5, and Clementine. And they were, read it. I remember it. I just can't remember how to describe it. It says, the country of Arcata calls them good luck girls. They know their luck is anything but. Sold to a welcome house, kind of like a ladies in a night house, maybe, would say. Sold to a welcome house as children and branded with a cursed mark on their bodies, trapped in a life they would never have chosen. When one of them accidentally kills a man, 5 girls risk a dangerous escape and a harrowing journey to find freedom, justice, and revenge in a country that wants them to have none of those things. Pursued by Arcada's most vicious and powerful forces, both human and inhuman, their only hope lies in a bedtime story passed from one good luck girl to another, a story that only the youngest or most desperate would ever believe. It's going to take more than luck for them all to survive. Yeah, this was really good. And it also would be a really good movie. I don't know why people aren't looking at books, more books to create movies from. I remember that they branded these kids because what happened is they kind of preyed on families that didn't have enough money to feed their family. And so they would sell their daughters to this welcome home because they didn't have enough money to feed them. And they promised that they would feed them in private shelter, but they also had them, work at the welcome house. And the brand that they put on them would not allow them, and this isn't a spoiler, it wouldn't allow them to escape. So they couldn't just walk out the door and leave. It would hurt them physically if they tried to leave because of this brand that they put on them. And it was good. Very action-packed. Very, very good. So if you get a chance, that's a great fantasy that I really enjoyed. The next one, which one do I want to do first? Which one do I want to do first? I'm going to do this one. And this is Mem. I don't really hear anybody talk about this one. I don't know why. I just don't know why. But it was such a good book. I remember when I bought it, and let me tell you, because I'll tell you the date it came out. So this one is 2018. Was that one 2018? 2018. And the cover is so cool because the cover is like this transparent, and then inside, this is what the cover of the book looks like. You see. And let me see if I can, let's test my memory on this one. First of all, it's a really short book too. So if you're looking for a fantasy, that's a short book. It was this company that basically would take your memories that you didn't want to have anymore in your body, and they would transfer them to these mems, which were types of beings that would then retain and hold those memories for you. And I can't remember if people would try to get, if you wanted to get them back. I think there were memories you wanted to kind of remove, right? And these beings that they put them in kind of operated in a certain way. And this particular one that we follow, I remember something vaguely about, she started to have feelings and thoughts that weren't supposed to be like coded in them. And she wanted more, right? Let's read what it says now. Let's see if I'm even close to remembering. The Roaring 20s are in a full swing, and technological advances have led to a rather unusual, most fashionable practice. The elites of Montreal, this is a book in Canada, or it's set in Canada, of Montreal are having unpleasant memories extracted from their minds, but the memories exist as mirror images of their sources The elites of Montreal are having unpleasant memories extracted from their minds, but the memories exist as mirror images of their sources, creatures known as memes or mems. Elsie, otherwise known as Dolores Extract Number 1, is the first mem with the ability to create her own memories. That's what it was. That's what it was. She's granted special privileges and allowed to live on her own in the city, away from the vaults. That's what you saw in the picture, where all the other mems are kept. That is until the day she is suddenly summoned back. What happens next is the gorgeously rendered, heartbreaking novel announcing an exhilarating new voice and speculative literature. That's Bethany C. Morrow. She, this was her debut. It was phenomenal. And then she went on to write some other young adult books that just weren't, I didn't read them, but I think they just weren't on this type, like I love this kind of fantasy, sci-fi, kind of, like I said, speculative fiction. I'm hoping she'll return to that because this was really good. If you want a really interesting book, this is really, really, really good. And it's short. And that's by Bethany C. Morrow, and it's called Mem. All right, and my last book, and it's not the least, I absolutely adored this one, and she really, really blew my mind with this one too. This is Dread Nation, Rise Up by Justina Ireland. Look at the fabulous cover. This one came out in, 2018. It came out in 2018. Apparently I was reading a lot of these books in 2018. I need to get on it and read some new stuff now. This one was really good. There's a follow-up. Is there one follow-up book? Is it a duology or a trilogy? I feel like it is a duology. I think so. I have the second one. Second one was very good as well. First one still was my favorite. Jane McKean was born 2 days before the dead began to walk the battlefields of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I remember this one. Oh yeah, like zombies. So if you don't like zombie type stuff, it might bother you. But pardon me, it is more than just a zombie story. It was really good. It says, I'm sorry. 2 days before the dead began to walk the battlefields of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, derailing the war between the states and changing the nation forever. In this new America, safety for all depends on the work of a few. Laws like the Negro and Native Redemption Act require certain children attend combat schools to learn to put down the dead. But there are also opportunities, and Jane is studying to become an attendant, trained in both weaponry and etiquette to protect the well-to-do. It's a chance for a better life for Negro girls like Jane. But that's not a life she wants. Almost finished with her education at Miss Preston's School of Combat in Baltimore, Jane is set on returning to her Kentucky home and doesn't pay much mind to the politics of the eastern cities with their talks of returning America to the glory of the days before the dead rose. But when families around Baltimore County begin to go missing, Jane is caught in the middle of a desperate fight against some powerful enemies. Blah, 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 blah. Read it. This is good. You'll get beyond the zombie aspect, and then there's a really good story there. It was cute, but yes, that was really good. So those are my 5. 1, 2, 3, very good. 4, and then our 5th one is Children of Blood and Bone. You can't go wrong with any of these books. I really did like them. And if you've read them, let me know down there if you've read any of these, and if you think you might want to read some of these, because these are really, really good books. So there's my 5 and 5 for 25, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.